Hello Wolfpack, we're back here on Bitcoin today. We've seen a dead cat bounce on Bitcoin. We spoke about the possibility for this happening yesterday. It wasn't actually too expected because we were in a bearish pennant formation, but regardless, we did talk about what would happen if it did happen. And we said that, hey, we could possibly even bounce all the way up to this downtrending yellow line, this major downtrending yellow line here, before the 13th of July. But when the 13th of July occurs, we will need to be looking at some very precise data to understand what will be happening next. And what is that data? That is the CPI, the Consumer Price Index for the United States of America, measuring year-on-year inflation. Now, we have some pretty interesting charts to show you at some point in this video. You know, zooming up in this 5-minute chart, I'm actually in a long right now. We're having 50% profit. We're going to lock that in very shortly. We also made some profit from trading this breakout in the Pennant, which I made you guys aware of in yesterday's video. It would have been a prime trade, trading the breakout of the daily chart Pennant. It's pretty simple stuff, and it generally results in at least 100% to 200% profit, depending on the leverage you're using, obviously. But, you know, regardless of all of that, the point of the matter is, and the main thing I want to get into this video is the fact that, well, we're seeing a double bottom formation on Bitcoin, right? We're seeing a double bottom formation. We saw a breakout of a triangle, and not only did we see a double bottom formation, but we also saw a double bottom formation form on a major macro uptrending support line on the weekly logarithmic chart. Now, does this change my opinion on Bitcoin? Does it mean that I think Bitcoin's going to bottom out here? No, it doesn't. Right? And I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you what my opinion is first. My opinion on Bitcoin has been since November 2022. You can look back at my videos, November 2021. You can look back at my videos and check out what happened there. 66 to 63K. I was saying Bitcoin's going to bottom out. I think 63. Bitcoin's going to bottom out in Q4 2022. I'm not straying from that prediction because I think that prediction is still 100% valid. I do not think Bitcoin's going to bottom out yet. I think it is too early for Bitcoin to bottom out yet, unless data comes out that changes my mind. And the CPI is the data that very well could change my mind, right? If the CPI comes in this month on July 13th, which is just in 5 days, at less than 8.6%, that very well, and it has led to in the past, as you can see here, I've listed the times in which the S&P 500 has bottomed in relation to inflation rates, that very well could trigger the S&P 500 bottom, which is in a massive downtrend right now. It's actually following a fractal quite well, and that could trigger the bottom for Bitcoin. Now, the reason why I don't think that's likely to happen is because it just doesn't seem logical, right? We've got a 13-year, 10-year macro trend on Bitcoin, right? 10-year macro trend suggesting the Q4 bottom. We've got a very convincing fractal on the S&P 500. The macro situation itself doesn't necessarily look that good for it to just flip back to normal now. I mean, you know, I hate to say it like this, but we're only at inflation rates we saw in the 80s. Only. You know, and you look at what's happening, we've seen a literal global pandemic in which global economies have been shut down for 2 years, supply chains are still affected, right? Inflation by all measures is still skyrocketing. It doesn't necessarily make sense for me to see, in my opinion, you know, the CPI come in lower, but you know, who knows? I'm not an economist, right? I can't predict this kind of thing. I predict the charts. The charts don't really tell us anything about CPI numbers. What I can say is that if the CPI numbers do come in lower, that could go a long way in confirming the validity of this bounce, right? Until that point, I would not be expecting this bounce to do anything major, right? At the most, it will come up to this downtrending yellow line and retest it, right? Which would be, what, a bounce to like, what, 23, 24K? That's at the most it can do. And if CPI comes in higher, that no doubt will put additional pressure on the markets. It will no doubt put additional pressure on the Federal Reserve to raise interest rates even further, and there already is the pressure there for them to do that, right? If we're looking at the bond yields, for example, the bond yields are saying interest rates actually should be 75 basis points higher than they are right now. So interest rates are already undervalued, and so if interest rates are already undervalued, there's going to be more rate hikes, and the Federal Reserve has hinted at nothing but more rate hikes. Why would the CPI come in lower, right? That's what I'm saying. And so, you know, at this point, I would say, and my advice to you would be, don't fall for it, right? Because it's very likely that this is a dead cat bounce. Don't fall for it. That doesn't mean you can't trade it. And I've been trading it. I've got a BitGet up right now. I'm trading in a long position right now. And I'm probably going to be closing that very shortly. I'm waiting for some sort of trend reversal here. I had a trade last night from this major pennant formation, broke to the upside. I posted on Twitter, made a 50% profit there. And I'm currently in a trade just trying to see what happens there with a small percentage of the profits I made last night, because it's obviously a 5-minute chart. So it's not necessarily super reliable. But it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And then, And that's what I'm saying, though. It's like, yeah, you can trade the short term, but don't be fooled, right? Because the longer term is very much in the hands of the macro situation, and the macro situation is still not looking good. And the 4-year cycle is suggesting it's not going to look good until Q4, which is what the Federal Reserve is actually saying. And so, you know, you could say, well, what if the Federal Reserve's lying? It's like, yeah, of course they could be lying. They've lied before in the past. They could probably lie again in the future. But we have to assume they're telling the truth because that's what the data is suggesting to us. And so, yeah, I would say that this is most likely a dead cat bounce. A dead cat bounce has been triggered on Bitcoin. It's confirmed bounce. And in terms of price points, you know, where I'd think we need to be achieving to actually start considering the fact that, hey, maybe this macro uptrending line did hold the support and maybe the bottom is in, we would need to be breaking this downtrending yellow line in order for me to even start thinking about that. And we need confirmation of a break above 28.6K within that red box for me to actually think it properly, right? So, you know, in terms of price points, we've still got a long way to go until we confirm a bottom as per prices. But CPI will go a long way to give us more data, more information about, you know, when that could be happening and whether it's going to be happening in Q4, potentially even in the month of July, right? I still think it's unlikely. I still think a dead cat bounce is in play here. I don't think this bounce is realistic. If we're looking at something like the 200-week SMA, we can see that we dropped that, we lost it. Obviously, you guys know what the 200-week SMA is. I don't need to explain it again, right? Major support zone on Bitcoin. We lost it. Now we're coming up and it's going to be acting as strong resistance. So I wouldn't be surprised if we reject off of that. That's at 22.5K currently. So let's see what happens here. We'll be back with a video tomorrow. Yeah, again, dead cat bounce has been triggered. Don't get overly, don't get overly, antsy. You know, the chances are this is nothing but a dead cat bounce. And guess what? You know, even if it isn't, even if it actually turns out to be a confirmed bottom on Bitcoin, guess what? You know, you waited for the trend reversal. That's what you're meant to be doing. But again, Q4 bottom on Bitcoin, 12 to 14K. I'm sticking to my guns here. I seriously don't think this bounce will materialize into anything major unless the CPI comes in lower, at which points I'll have to adjust my opinion. So dead cat bounce in play here. Again, don't get too, skedaddly. It's all good. Cheers. Thanks. Before we end the video, I want to look at a few things here. Starting off with Wolves of Crypto V.I.P. Talked about it a bit in this video. We post altcoin trading signals every second day. What you can do is you can go to my YouTube channel, click the join button on a PC device, and you can see all the perks that are available. Altcoin trading signals every second day, prioritized reply to comments, a 2-hour video on market psychology, and occasional access to my trading view charts when I see it as relevant. All for just $28 USD a month, less than $1 a day. Give me one VIP group that's cheaper than that offers the same quality of content. You literally cannot, because it is the cheapest in the business. Moving forward, the Crypto Academy. Let me refresh the page here because it's not actually loading properly. Here we go. There we go. Crypto Academy Become a Trader course. Again, I'm telling you guys, 2.5 months until Q4. If you agree with me, Q4 is going to be the bottom. It's not much time. And so you've got about 2.5 months of the prime time, the best time you can to learn how to trade. And this is it. This is your chance, right? So Become a Trader, 10-unit course, takes you through everything you need to know about TA, everything you need to know about cryptocurrency in general, how to find trades, all of the 9 yards, the whole 9 yards, I should say. And you can go ahead and email us here at cryptoacademycourse@gmail.com to get a payment information pamphlet, a more in-depth video explanation of what the course is and what it actually looks like, and etc. And go ahead and make sure to do that if you're interested in that kind of thing. It's beautiful to see. We've got about 100 students in there now, so become one of them. BitGet Exchange is my favorite exchange. And I'm not just saying that because it's in the video. It's literally my favorite exchange. I reached out to these guys to do a partnership. They didn't reach out to me. And so, yeah, my favorite exchange. I use it alongside Binance. Binance I use mainly for spot. BitGet I use mainly for futures. Why is that? Futures is actually available on BitGet in Australia because we have the non-KYC option. Binance doesn't allow futures in Australia. We've also got half the fees of Binance on the BitGet exchange, which is crazy. We've got a reward center in which you can earn rewards for doing, pretty simple tasks, up to $4,000 in rewards for doing some tasks there. And then the referral program, which is obviously epic, in which you can gain access to that reward center using my referral link in the description below. So please sign up to BitGet. Helps out the channel and it helps out yourself because you're paying less fees on crypto. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.